So I'm here in Nissan's HQ in Japan to take a look at a car that you are either going to love or hate, because the Nissan Juke has gone electric. And yes, it's as weird as ever, which is what Nissan is betting is exactly what the EV world needs right now. So should we take a look at it? You might want to get a pair of these because it's a lot. The Juke arrived on the scene back in 2010 and helped kick off the whole compact crossover trend, mixing small car size with slightly oddball styling. But it worked. They've sold more than 1.5 million across Europe. It always kind of sat in the middle ground, bigger than a city car, but not quite a full family SUV. And now for the first time, it's going electric. Now, I always thought that the Nissan Juke looked a bit like a love child between the Nissan Micra and an SUV after a particularly wild night out. It had a lot going on, particularly around the front where it had lots and lots of headlights. So yes, it's still going quite big on the light front, isn't it? So you've got these sort of brilliantly like dual light looking headlights that are full of angles and shapes, and then you've got a light bar across the front here. I like the illuminated Nissan badge, that is nice. I'm not so sure about the two-tone, personally. I kind of don't mind it on the top, but I'm not so sure about it here. I think I'd prefer to see it all one colour. It's very purple, isn't it? And of course the Juke always has had a bit of a thing for bright colours, so I expect that we are going to see a lot of bright colours with this. Now, I've just been looking at the Hyperpunk concept, which came out in 2023, and it was an all-electric origami-inspired crossover. Anyway, this is what it looks like in real life. So, I mean, you've got to hand it to Nissan. Other brands show us a concept car and then they show us something that looks nothing like it. This actually looks like the Nissan Hyperpunk, I think. And you can definitely see the origami stuff going on and all the angles. And yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? So do you see what I mean? You are going to have strong opinions about this. I've got no idea what to make of it at the moment. So it's got this kind of sloping roof line that we saw on that Hyperpunk concept. As you can see, all the angles are there. If you look along the side here, the angles that they have pressed at those side panels is really quite extraordinary. And should we just give a moment for the wheels? Wheels are like shoes, aren't they? Get them wrong and everybody notices. I don't know, what are your thoughts on these? Because you're not going to miss them, are you? Oh, there's something up there, and I don't know what it is because nobody can tell me, but I strongly suspect it's Morse code. So if any of you know, please can you drop me a comment and explain what that is and what it says? It's got to be something Nissan-y, right? Round at the back. Ooh, there's a lot going on with the lights. It's very geometry-led, is what I would say. So you've got these geometry origami-inspired lights down here and up here at the top. Oh, look, it's got a wiper. I know everybody wants to take wipers away. Good Juke, kept the wiper. I quite like the Juke little logo there, that looks quite cool. And then there's this sort of weird trim down here, which I'm not allowed to touch it and I've no idea what it's made of. But again, it's got all little sort of geometry-inspired triangles all over it. Now, we don't have any technical specs yet. In fact, I know nothing about this car at all, other than the fact its name is Juke, it's electric, and it's purple. So I will try and fill in some of the blanks for you. Now, because of the Leaf, we've got a pretty good idea of what we can expect. It should mean a couple of batteries. The Leaf's 52 kilowatt hour and 75 kilowatt hour packs. Now, the Leaf, unlike the Nissan Ariya, it's front wheel drive. I would expect this to be front wheel drive again. Range, probably slightly lower than the Leaf because it's a bit more of an upright car, but it should, given all its angles, which I presume are there to help with aerodynamics, sit quite comfortably alongside rivals in the class. Charging should be in line with all of Nissan's latest EVs. Now, there is some interesting tech going on though with this, because just like the Leaf, the Juke will support vehicle to load and it will support vehicle to grid. Now, they've been talking a lot about that here at this event in Japan, about how they see this whole vehicle to grid being a big part of their electrification strategy. It's all about how you can use your car to help balance the energy grid by using the battery as storage. You have a home battery unit, and this then sends and receives power from the grid to the battery back to the car. So it will be equipped with that. What we don't know is when all that's going to be unlocked, because it seems to have been coming forever in the UK and Europe. I mean, I filmed trials on vehicle to grid with a Nissan Leaf, which must have been about 7 or 8 years ago. So at the moment, we still don't have a clear date on when that's coming, but it will have the technology. Now, the Juke has always looked quite chunky from the outside, as does this one. Inside, though, it's never been that spacious. It's been a bit of a reverse TARDIS, if you like. So it will be interesting to see whether this one improves on that. Because underneath, it's a massive shift. It now sits on Nissan's dedicated EV platform. So that's the same basic architecture used by cars like the Nissan Leaf and the Aria. So it means it's been designed as an EV from the ground up rather than adapted, which is always better and should mean improved efficiency, better modern technology, and in theory, a bit more space inside. And I would love to explore that with you and show it to you, but I can't because there is no inside. So we'll come back to that at a later date. Pricing. You want to know that, don't you? And I've got no idea. I don't even know the name of the colour, like I said. But look, what we do know is that Nissan is really keen to keep this as affordable as possible, and the aim is to price it in line with today's Juke. So that currently sits in the mid to high 20,000s, depending on what spec you go for. Now, getting an EV close to that level is ambitious. If they can manage it, it could become one of the more affordable electric crossovers on the market in terms of price. It also helps that it's going to be built at Nissan's factory in Sunderland alongside the Leaf, and that is a really big deal. Not only does it reinforce the UK in Nissan's electric future, it also means that this should qualify for the UK government electric car grant. Of course, we're too early to know that yet, but the Leaf does get the full grant. And if this does, then that will make a pretty meaningful contribution to what buyers will pay.
The Juke has got a lot of competition, and given the fact that it's Nissan's best-selling model in Europe after the Qashqai, they need to get it right. So you've got cars like the Ford Puma, which are big on practicality and sensible pricing, while something like the Toyota CHR Plus goes more upmarket with bigger batteries and longer range. Then you've got slightly smaller options like the Renault 4 and the Skoda Epic, which have less range but are more affordable. So the Juke has got to find a sweet spot, balancing that bold design with everyday usability and at a price people can justify.
Now, previous Jukes haven't really been all about driving excitement. They've been more about user ease and style. But you know what? I think going electric may well change that. You've got instant torque, smoother acceleration, the e-pedal, quieter driving. I think it could suit it really well. And there was a hot Nismo version of the original Juke, do you know? Wouldn't mind a sporty electric version of this. Ultimately though, this is a really important car for Nissan. It's taken something which has always stood out, always done things a little bit differently, and it's bringing it into the electric age with its different character still intact. Because you really can't say this is shy and retiring, can you? It is going to stand out from the crowd. Right, I said at the start, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Do let us know in the comments below. And remember, be kind.